Gerry Adams has long taken an interest in the region and has been a vocal critic of Israel in the past. He's with us now. Thanks for joining us. We know you've been following this closely. What's your initial reaction?
Well, I was shocked. I knew about the flotilla. One of the main organisers, Caoimhe Butterley, visited Stormont last week, and we had a long discussion. And while she thought that they may be arrested, nobody, including myself, thought for a second that you would have the attack on the boat, as was revealed overnight. So it's despicable. It's one in a series of breaches of international law. The blockade of Gaza itself is illegal. The building of the separation wall is illegal. The settlements are illegal. And this was a humanitarian effort to focus attention and to bring aid. I mean humanitarian aid, medicines, other necessary materials which people there are being denied, and for it to be attacked the way it was attacked, I think is absolutely reprehensible, and the international community stands indicted for its failure, for its refusal in some instances to stand up to the Israeli government on these issues.
We've had the UN Security Council meeting throughout the night and issuing its statement offering an independent investigation. Surely that's a start.
Well, that's only dealing with this issue. See, this issue is part of the ongoing. There'll be another issue next week, and this is one which got a lot of media attention, but understandably the media can't be there all the time. We all watched over the Christmas, I think 2 years ago, the assault on Gaza, and I said to myself, I visited that maybe 2 months afterwards, and I said to myself, whatever we have seen in our lifetimes here, it pales to insignificance compared to just that piece of work that was done on the people of Gaza. Now, there's not been one brick of reconstruction. There are 1 million people dependent upon food aid on agencies, and a lot of really wonderful people who go in there in their roles as NGOs. But there hasn't been one piece of regenerative or reconstruction work done in that city of Gaza or in the Gaza Strip. And then this incident happens, and of course the media understandably highlight it and discuss it and debate it. But that'll go off in a week or two. What they have there, and this was said to me by many Fein Israelis and by all of the Palestinians I spoke to, is a process without peace and a government which is allowed to just with impunity breach international conventions.
What, so far as you understand it, is the situation at the moment with the Irish aid ship which went from Dundalk, which is still at sea, hasn't actually been captured yet by the Israeli forces?
Well, the ship is called the Corrie, which is the name of a young American activist who was killed protesting and standing in the way of bulldozers, and she was run over. And just if I can just go off on a tangent for a little second, the boat has a very interesting history. It was impounded in Cork because the people who were running it treated their crew with just awfulness. They were feeding them with dog food, for example. They never paid them their wages, and SIP2 ran a campaign around this, and the Irish government impounded the boat. So the campaigners bought the boat and then equipped it out and put all of those materials in it. It did have engine trouble, so it lagged behind the rest of the flotilla by as long as 8 or 10 hours. So it hasn't actually reached the point where the rest of the flotilla was attacked. And they're now seeking to negotiate with the Israelis to get their shipment through, as they're entitled to do. This is international waters, and there's the Israelis are running with this line, well look, we'll take it and we'll put it through. It's really important that the Irish government, indeed the British government and anybody else who's interested in this issue, that they insist that that shipment goes through, because most of it's banned. Pencils are banned, particular types of shampoo are banned, toothpaste is banned, and cement is banned. So if the people on the boat, on the Rachel Corrie, were to hand that material over to the Israeli government, that'll be it, that'll be destroyed.
Now, from your point of view, obviously, as someone who's supported the cause of Palestinians in Gaza, do you think there's an opportunity here, though, for the light to be shone on this issue? And what about, say, the role of someone like George Mitchell, who played a positive role in relation to the peace process
Well,
here.
I've talked to George Mitchell about this on a number of occasions, and in fact I've briefed him on the visits that I have made to that region. Out of any bad situation, good can come. So it may be that this will be a catalyst for good, but that will only be the case unless the European Union, unless the British government, the Irish government, and particularly unless the USA say that it's going to stand by international law. So it's welcome that the UN have called for an investigation, but the UN also needs to call for the Israeli government to stick by the spirit and the letter of international conventions, and if it doesn't, then sanctions should be taken against them. I believe that the Irish government should send the Israeli ambassador home. I think that's the only measure of outrage that would express the feeling of people on this issue. Now,
but other than that, though, unilaterally, can Ireland itself do anything because it's part of a European
Yes.
Union? So when you talk, say, for instance, about trade embargoes, I know some people have called for that, it can't do anything on its own.
well, I mean, I actually have praised the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Micheál Martin, on a number of occasions for what I think are very positive steps that he's taken on this issue. He tried to visit Gaza. He was blocked from visiting Gaza. He went in through Egypt, if I understand. Now, what the Irish government needs to do is to take up leadership position on this issue, is to go to the European Union, is to propose measures which are not about sanctions against the people of Israel or indeed against the Israeli government, but about bringing a peace process which is based upon equality and which is moving towards a peace settlement as opposed to a process which doesn't go anywhere. And one of the things, I've been there 3 times, I've only been in Gaza once, but one of the things that I found was that everybody I spoke to and listened to, and we spoke to a wide range of people, they could tell you the nature of the settlement, right down to the detail. What's lacking there is leadership. Leadership on the Israeli side, and I also think on the Palestinian side, that they need to go for a unity government, that they need to cover up whatever differences they have between them. There's a national interest involved here.
Obviously, the split between Hamas and the PLO and their successors.
Yeah, and what they need to do is to act in their own national interest, whatever about the difference. I mean, I have no truck for Hamas. I mean, they are, we see the effects of fundamentalist religious groups here in this part of the of the world. So it's a very volatile mixture. At the same time, one has to recognise that they have been elected by what all of the international bodies said were free and fair elections. So they need to come together and disagree about whatever they want to disagree upon, but work a process which brings peace to the people of that region, and that's to the people of Israel as well as to the people of Palestine. And the people who are in the government in Israel will continue to act the way they're acting unless the international community says stop it.
Well, do you think the Obama administration has any flexibility to deliver?
Well, I think that Senator Mitchell, and I think that also Hillary Clinton, given their experience here and given the skills which he brought to the job here, can create conditions where real talks can commence and where there is real and tangible progress. So yes, I think that the Obama administration can, and I have been advised that they are going to continue to work on this issue until they bring it to a resolution. But there needs to be clarity. Acts of piracy should not be part of any process, and where you have what we saw in the early hours of the other morning happening, then there needs to be very, very clear and transparent measures taken to prevent that happening again. But look, these settlements are as big as Bangor. When you hear the word settlement, you think, like a Wild Westy type ramshackle, temporary. These are huge, and what is all the more pitiable is that they're cheek and jowl with refugee camps. So we have millions of people living as refugees, and you have these settlements being built as part almost of an extension of Israeli policy, where they're inviting in right-wing settlers, very fundamentalist Zionists, to build very elaborate townships, but also to build their own roads, which Palestinians aren't allowed onto. that these cut across Palestinian land. The separation wall, I mean, I know the peace wall, so-called, that we have here needs to come down, but it is dwarfed by the separation wall, and the separation wall is clearly in breach of international law.
Okay. Gerry, I was going to have to leave it there, but thanks very much indeed.
Okay, thanks, Jim.